Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's a nice snowy day today. Sticking around here. Anyways, today we're going to be gapping spark plugs and what that means, why you should do it, etc., etc. I had done a spark plug change on the Honda Civic a while ago. A lot of comments, a lot of questions about how to gap spark plugs. I didn't do it in that video. Don't know why. Everything looked to be fine, so I just went ahead and threw them in. Just to clear the air a bit, I have not had any issues since that video was posted, but it is the right thing to do to gap your spark plugs. So we're going to take a look at that today. All right, to gap your spark plugs, you're going to need a couple things. First, we're going to need the spark plug, obviously. And then we're going to need either something like this, looks like a little $50, but it has little graduations on there. This is a spark plug gapper tool. I don't know, whatever you call it. They're like 50 cents at your parts store, maybe $1. And if you don't have that, and maybe you have some feeler gauges, you can use this instead. We'll do it both ways. And then finally, we're going to need to know what the actual gap needs to be. In this case, I've looked it up. It's 030. So if we look on here, it should be this guy right here, 030. And that's in thousandths. So let's get to it. All right, so if we look at the spark plug gap tool, we can see that we go from 020 all the way up to 100. So this is in thousandths, and if we turn it on its edge, we can see, let's see if we can get in focus here. Really thin right here, and as we go around, it gets thicker and thicker and thicker all the way until it's almost the same thickness as the rest of the coin, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to start on 020, and we're going to take our spark plug with this little gap here, and we're going to just put it in. Just like that, right? So we can see that at 020, it's very loose. So then we're just gonna go ahead and spin it around until it stops. And wouldn't you know it, stops at 030. Perfect. So we know that this one's gapped per spec. You of course can keep going and really jam it in there, but if you do that, you're gonna potentially damage the spark plug. And so don't do that. Just go until you get little resistance. Make sure though that when you are going around that you do keep it kind of parallel like this, because if I start bringing the spark plug out like this, I'm going to get unnecessary drag, and I'm going to think that I'm at the reading that I'm supposed to be at. So for instance, if I go, stupid camera, if I go and bring it out like this, I'm going to start feeling some drag at 020, which is clearly not what we're gapped at. So make sure that it's level, then bring it out. This one actually looks like it's a little tiny bit more than 030. I'm just reading from the center, not the right edge, not the left edge, just the center of the spark plug piece right there. So, if by some chance it were to be too big or too small, you can bend it a little bit, needle nose pliers. You can, I think there's a gap opener here, so we can kind of put the top of the spark plug into this little hole, and the hole is beveled, right? So we put it in there, and then you can kind of push it and tweak it this way, maybe even this way, bend it around. I'm not going to do that, but basically you just want to spread or close this little gap right there. So you got your hook, you just want to bend it up or bend it down, and you'll get closer or farther from the actual tip that creates the spark. So that's how we do it with the little spark plug tool. Let's use the feeler gauges. All you gotta do is either find one that is 030, and if you don't have one, you can just pick a few that add up to it. So I have, I think, up to 025. So we can go 025 plus 005 equals 0.30. Alright, so we will just take 025, 005, and we'll stack them together, tuck all the other ones away. Alright, and then just want to hold them together. There's your 030. So we will take this and we will feed it into the side. And we can feel a little bit of a drag, which is just exactly what we want. We don't want to be pulling it super hard. That would mean, actually, if we couldn't even get it in, that would mean the gap's too small. And if we put it in and we have a lot of up and down movement, that means it's too big. But as it is, we have just the right amount of drag here. And again, make sure that you keep this parallel or perpendicular, because if you start bending out like this, you're going to get extra drag when you're pulling it, right? So make sure that you're parallel here, perpendicular, and just go ahead and feel it. So this one's got just about the right amount of drag, and that is how you gap the spark plug. Right, well, that's it. That was the whole thing. That's how you gap your spark plugs. When you do gap the spark plugs, it's going to increase your efficiency in your car a little bit. If you're not getting a hot enough spark, you might not burn all the fuel that gets injected into that cylinder. So it is going to help with your efficiency, though how much, I don't know. So if you have a bigger gap, you're going to have potentially less spark or less hot spark, or I suppose it'd be a larger spark. And if it's too big of a gap, then you won't get any spark at all. So that'll make your engine run really rough. If it's too small, then there's not enough spark to burn all the fuel, and maybe it's not hot enough and whatever. So make sure that you gap them right, or if you trust your local parts store that they're gapped correctly, go ahead and just chuck them in. You'll know if they're bad, and then you can just pull them out and do what we just did. Also, pick up one of these. They're like $1 or less. So, ooh, it could be like a little pirate. There we go. All right, gap your plugs. Stick around, check out other videos on the channel. Yeah.